Hey there, how there, ho there. It's Jeff Cutter Diamond welcoming to yet another Stone Cold Hockey video for the 83-84 season. We are in the conference finals. And yes, my Edmonton Oilers, as I played them from the start of the season from 80 in 83-84, we are in the conference finals. We take on the St. Louis Blues. We won our divisional playoffs. The Islanders take on those pesky Montreal Canadiens. If the Blues had lost to the North Stars in Game 7, we would have seen an exact Final Four from real life, 84, Edmonton, Minnesota, Islanders, Montreal. Summary wise, we were 50, 25, and 5. Pretty good squad. Behind Buffalo, the Islanders, and Washington for points and all that. The Islanders are there. Buffalo and Washington both fell flat. So we're happy with our 50, 25, and 5. In the postseason, Wayne Gretzky has 14 goals. That's amazing. Second best is 9 with Nevin Markberg. Perry Turnbull has 8 for the Blues. Anders Hedberg also with 8. Tony Tonti and Patrick Sundstrom. So Turnbull's the only threat to Gretzky in the goals department. Among the goal scorers, Paul Coffey, Mark Messier both have 6. Yuri Curry has 5. And all that. Points-wise, Gretzky leads Rick Middleton, who has 18, who's second, but Boston's out. Paul Coffey has a chance to jump into second place. You got Brian Bellows in 4th. Well, Mark Messier is 12 in points. Yuri Curry was 22nd, and that's it. Goaltending, Mike Liu has a 2-5 goals against if he plays, with Doug Keen's first, Frank Priest third, Hanlon, Moog, Brodeur, Smith, Fuhr, Meloche. Fuhr 3-1, Fuhr 4-2. In the playoffs, as we take a look at the bracket, Vancouver shocked Calgary in Game 5 of their first round series to take on us, the Edmonton Oilers, number 1 in the Smythe. We beat Edmonton 3 straight. Vancouver for push us to Game 7. We actually lost games 2, 4, and 6, but we won 1, 3, 5, 7. St. Louis swept Chicago side. Minnesota had a scare from Detroit, but the Blues beat the North Stars. Montreal sweeping Buffalo side, man, number 1 in the league and nothing in the playoffs. Boston managed to survive over Quebec in 5. Montreal beat Boston in 6. Rangers in 5 over Washington, big win in Washington. Islanders sweep Philly, and then the Islanders swept their cross-town rivals. So of course, we're playing the playoffs. This playoff for the Islanders winning Game 1 in overtime. Islander goals by Brian Trottier and Dwayne Sutter in regulation. John Chabot and Guy Carbonneau from Montreal. And then in overtime, Nystrom from Trottier, 78 losing to Billy Smith. So Nystrom doing his job. Now we play our game. And we have... Why do we start in St. Louis? We should be starting at home. Because we did have more points. Well, anyway, Andy Moog in the net. Rick Hines, the surprise starter for the Blues. Buddy LaRock also is there with Mike Leo, the MVP runner-up to Wayne Gretzky of all people. Anyway, nevertheless, we start with Wayne Gretzky, the great one, Glenn Anderson, Yuri Curry, the original Finnish superstar. No disrespect to Timu. Paul Coffey, Kitchener. Mark Moose Messier, Pat Hughes, Dave Hunter, Willie Lindstrom, Kenny the Rat Linsman, Dr. Randy Gregg, Europe Husar, Charlie Huddy, Kevin McLean, Don Jackson, Dave Lumley, the protector Dave Semenko, Lee Fogelin, Kevin Lowe, Pat Conacher, Rick Chartraw, Kitchener, Ken Berry, Raymond Sumanin, and Jim Playfair, who embarrassed himself during an AHL game, and YouTube mocked him. The Blues, Bernie Federko, good old number 21. Joey Mullen, before he was a Penguin and a Flame. Brian Sutter, part of the Sutter brothers. Jorgen Pettersson. Doug Gilmore, yeah, he was a Blue at once, then a Flame, then a Leafy. He who shall not be mentioned because of how crappy he was in the vehicular homicide of one Keith Magnuson, and also, let's not forget, his crappiness as captain of the late 80 Leafs. Perry Turnbull, Wayne Babbage, Guy Chouinard, former Atlanta Flame, Matt Reeds, Pat Hickey, Craig Puslowski, Doug Wickenheiser, who got traded from Montreal to St. Louis because Wickenheiser was the first pick in 1980 draft. Montreal, I don't know why they didn't pick Denny Savard. Rick Wilson, Perry Anderson, Jack Carlson from the lovely Hanson Brothers thing. Frank Schofield, and then Lemieux, Mario's older brother. Tim Bothwell, Terry Johnson, Dave Bichette, and Gilbert Delhomme. 2 minutes later. They score! The great one from Anderson and Lowe. Hey, Gretzky. 5 minutes later. Agitator? They get agitated, and it's Schofield. And we lose. Lumley. 5 minutes later. Another chance? No. 4 more minutes. Blue Skiers. Caridon. His 6 from Gretzky and Messier makes it 2-0 Oilers. And that's the end of the period. 5 minutes later. We got a penalty against McClelland. They have a chance, Brian? Or no? 2 minutes later. Aggression. They have a chance and they miss. 2 minutes later. They have a chance? No. Battle. Fight. McClelland and Dwight Schofield. Schofield thinks he can beat McClelland. Much later. There's Skier. The great one again. His 16th. Second of the night from Lowe and Coffee makes it 3-0. Gretzky's like, we're going to make St. Louis pay. 5 minutes later. Let's go. Much later. Joe Mullen his 6. 11 years actually. 3-2. 3-2. Oh boy. Another hit. But we score. Gretzky puts up a hat trick. Chartrand with the assist. Throw your hats on the ice. Oh, we're in St. Louis. Fuck. Empty net time. Messier slicing in the empty net. Coffee and Huddy with the assist, and we win 5-2. All right. St. Louis tried, but we won 5-2. Gretzky with a hat trick. Coffee with 2 assists. Right. Edmonton 5-2. So we win the game. We win the game 5-2. Honors Montreal game 2. The Islanders win again on home turf. Stanley losing to Billy Smith. Islander goes by Chabert, Brian Trottier, Goring, and Tonelli. Montreal goes by Carbonneau and Steve Shutt. Islanders could do it. They could do it. I don't know why we're not hosting. Anyway, both teams making a change. Fuhrer now coming into game 2, and Mike Liut comes in net for the Blues. So we'll see what happens. 4 minutes into the game. 3 minutes. Advantage. Possession. That's Johnson. Do we take advantage? What is Skier? Power play goal. Mr. Anderson from McClelland. Much later. They scored. Great Schofield finally scored from Spanish and It's after 20. 4 minutes later. Chance. Oh. Good thing. 8 minutes later. Now it takes St. Louis. It's Sutter. Can we take advantage? Gretzky can't. Now it can Lumley. They're taking Gretzky. Ramage. Curry gets whacked by Babbage. He's in the box. So 2-man power play. And we score. Power play goal. Gretzky's 18 from Curry makes it 2-1. They still have Babbage in the box. And Coffee cannot take advantage. Much later. They deliver a hit. And we're at 2-1 after 40 minutes. So St. Louis is in trouble. They tie it. Turnbull from the regular Ramage. 5 minutes later. We score! Mr. Anderson does it again from Semenko and Lumley. Man, only 7 points of those guys combined. So, yeah, you know, these guys really are on the 5th line. 5 minutes later, Kalsowski missed a Gretzky a chance to shorthand it down. And they tie. Right. Put it. 5 5 minutes later. Oh, no. Who's are you, idiot? I thought so. We had it, but the Blues took it away from us, 5-3. Fear the future. Blue couldn't do anything about it. Yeah, Gretzky did score a goal, but they used the third period on us. Now we're 1-1, headed back to Edmonton. Meanwhile, in Montreal, Canadians get their asses handed to them. Wasley losing to future half goalie Rolly Mullins at 8-2. Chabot and McPhee scored for Montreal, but the others 4 goals in the first, 4 in the third. Nystrom, Dwayne Sutter, Nystrom, and Tonelli. Man, Nystrom's taken alive. Then Brian Sutter? No. Why am I struggling? Brent Sutter, that is. Born Potvin and Ben Brent again. 8-2. So the others look like they're going to sweep Montreal and define fucking powder. They want us. Andy Moe back in the net against Liut. The battle of the 1-0 goalies in this series. 3 minutes later. The Reds score! Mr. Anderson from Hunter and Coffee. 4 more minutes. St. Louis delivers a hit. The only coffee I want to drink is ice caps. Kitchener! His 7th from Hunter. 5 minutes later. Another chance, and they do it for Durko from Gilmore, and Puslowski makes it 2-1. 2-1 after 20 minutes. 2-1 doesn't mean anything. We blew the 2-1 lead last time. 3 minutes later. Percussion? They get 2 aggressive. It's Carlson. Let me go! This next news from Coffee and Hunter makes it 3-1. 3 minutes later. That was very, very good. His 2nd from Hunter and Lowe. Surprised he made an appearance. 5 minutes later. Question? We get 2 aggressive. Johnson in the box. But we can't take advantage. 2 minutes later. That makes a penalty of 1 more. And Puzar. Ooh. And Hunter gets hit. Last moment. There's a fight between McClellan and Brian Sutter. I'm surprised Brian Sutter could lay down. That actually helps us out. 4-1. St. Louis is like, we're gonna put Buddy LaRocque in the net. We might as well. Nope. 4 minutes later. Chance to make it 5? No. Much later. St. Louis gets agitated and reads to the box. But Coffee can't score. Much later. Blues scores from Coffee and Curry 5-1. Watch we lose games 4 and 6. 5-1. Well, St. Louis basically got their butts handed to them. I think it's a good philosophy that, when we win by blood. When we lose close. Bullshit. Did the Islanders sweep Montreal? Yes, they did. 5-4. Smith and Sevier were in the net. Montreal had goals by Naslund, Gainey, and Naslund. Yeah, Max Naslund. There's a hat trick. TL, Naslund, 2L, TL. So it was like Butch Goring, Greg Gilbert, Mike Bossy, Pat LaFontaine, and Bob Bourne scoring the goals. And that's it. The Islanders win 5-4. Montreal, they gave it the old college try. Steve Penny should have been more in net. They swept Buffalo. They took care of Boston in 6, but the Islanders swept them outside. Matt Naslund did score 17 points. He only had 5 goals, 12 assists. Mario Tremblay only scored 1 goal. Well, that's kind of cool because, I fucking hate Mario Tremblay. The Islanders, they took care of the Phillies they swept Philly, they took in the Rangers in 6, and then they swept Montreal. So they're 11-2. Billy Smith's got the 2 losses. Rolly and Rudy are the only guys left. Well, they're both 3-0, so basically, put them in more. Bossy and Trottier with 21 points each. Bossy with 8 goals. Trottier's got the assists. Bossy's got the goals. So now we know it's the Islanders. And we're probably going to be in New York to start. So game 4 of us. And we would send Grant Fuhr in the net. Leot for St. Louis. They might as well. Fuhr says, I want a second chance. 3 minutes later. Into the game, we can't score. 2 minutes later. It's Curry. Fortunately, no goal. 4 minutes later. Mr. Hughes from Lindstrom makes it 2. 5 minutes later. It's a great one. Thank you for calling. Three minutes later. Chance to make it 3. Nope. Hughes. 2 minutes later. Damn it. Right, no goal. 3 minutes later. Chance? No. Come on. Agitator. They get agitated. And it's Reed. Three minutes later. They score. Gilmore, his 5th from Sutter and Federico. Sutter. So his 5th. 3 minutes later. St. Louis takes a penalty. It's Schofield. They turn it off. It's 2-1 after 40 minutes. Just like game 2. 5 minutes later. Chance to make it 3. Man, Leut's been making save after save. Killing the clock. Stamina. Gotta get the stamina. And killing the stamina from Coffee makes 2-1. Stamina. Empty nets. The left. Kicking in Coffee and Two-Side score. Make it 4-1. We're starting to get our time here. And the Blues can't believe it. We're up 3-1 going back to St. Louis. Leo just lost his magic touch. Yeah, Curry, Dung, and the Rat. So anyway, game 5 in St. Louis. Can we finish it off? The answer is probably going to be with Fuhr. Well, Fuhr's in the net. Leo's in the net for St. Louis. Basically, we might as well go with you. 3 minutes later. They scored. Mullen from Bernard and Pedersen makes it 1-0. 1 minute later. We scored. Mr. Anderson. From Gretzky and Hughes. 1 minute later. Little hit. Another minute. They score. Mullen does it again. 2-1. But they score on 3. Well, here. There's a fight between Dave Hunter and Floyd Schofield. Schofield trying to beat up on Hunter. But we get back. Gretzky puts up number 20 from Huddy and Linsman. Makes it 2-2. So Gretzky's back. All right. And we score. Curry Dom. His 8th from Hughes and Coffee makes it 3-2. 3 more minutes. Pressure. Hey, we're aggressive. Don Jackson is. And tied Turnbull from Ramage and Paterka makes it 2-3. Oh crap. The Blues only got the NHL franchise of St. Louis because the Blackhawks owned the St. Louis Arena. 4 minutes later. Henderson scores for 6 from Pichette and Sugarco with the 4-3. 7 goals. Good game, but that's the first period. Holy fuck. 7 goals in 16 minutes. 3 minutes later. Nope. 4 minutes later. And another penalty, Hughes on Puslowski. Damn it. What? They couldn't score. Wow, they couldn't score. And Bothwell's in the box. Tie? No. So 7 goals in the first, none in the second. It's 4-3 Blues. 5 minutes later. They have a chance to score, but they can't. 3 minutes later, a fight. As Lumley and Schofield. Schofield again. This guy just loves to cause trouble. And we can't take advantage. Turnbull. We score to tie the game. Curry Dawn, his 9th. Second of the night from Coffey and Gretzky. Makes it 4-4. Liv Fogelin. He's not at a fog. He scores from Gretzky and Curry at the buzzer with 5 seconds left. Edmonton, St. Louis looked like they were going to go to overtime, but the Oilers win 5-4. What a job. We win the series in 5 games. That was a little too easy compared to Vancouver. 7 goals in the first period and then 2 the rest of the way. The Blues just exhausted themselves, I guess, with Mullen, Turnbull, Pettersson. Yeah, and that we scored Anderson, Gretzky, Curry, the series winner, and Lee Vogelin. We did it. We're in the finals. We get those pesky New York Islanders. We did it. Well, let's give cheers to St. Louis. Leo was 6-4, Hines 2-2, Bunny LaRock played that one game. They swept Chicago, they took care of Minnesota in 6, and then we took them in 5. Federico, 21 points, 17 assists, nice job. Joe Muller with 9 goals. But for us, our 2-goalie system, Fuhrer 6-3, Andy Moog 5-1. Andy Moog should be playing a lot. Moog should be playing a lot more, but Fuhrer's getting the wins. Moog's getting the goals against. We swept Winnipeg. We took care of Vancouver in 7. It was tough. We won, they win. We win, they win. We win, they win, and we win. And then 5 against St. Louis. Coffey 28 points. Gretzky 33. Curry 18. Jackson, Semenko, Vogelin, and Chartrand with points. We saw Semenko get Vogelin and Chartrand getting the points. Yeah, we saw Don Jackson score. I think it was in the first round. So that means Gretzky's got 20 goals. He's got the most. The Islanders, the highest goal scorer is Bossy with 8. Safe to say Gretzky's going to be the goal scoring leader. Yuri Curry wants to jump to second. He needs 2 to jump over Turnbull. Messier has 8. Coffey has 7. Anderson has 5. Points wise, Gretzky leads Paul Coffey by 5 points. So it's Gretzky, Coffey. Bossy and Trottier are trying to catch up to those two, but Gretzky, Coffey, you know that combination. Curry's 7 for 18. Messier is 9 for 16. Anderson's got 14. Hunter's got 12. Hughes has 11. Those guys are in the top 30. Goals against Keynes, Caprice, Moog. So yeah, Moog. Billy Smith has a 3.35. He's ahead of Fuhrer, but you know what? Grant Fuhrer doesn't care. Glenn Hanlon was 2-5 and has a better mark than Smith or Fuhrer and goes against. That's kind of awkward. But yeah, the Islanders 51, 21, and 8. The Oilers 50, 25, and 5. I forgot to check Edmonton's stuff. And against St. Louis. Well, let's see. They lost November 26th in St. Louis 6-5. I think that was the comeback game. And then they only played St. Louis 3 times. They lost to St. Louis 9-7 and won 8-3. So 2 out of 3 against St. Louis. They lost. St. Louis took 2 out of 3 from us. Against the Islanders, our 2 games against them, we tied them 5-5 December 4th. Melanson and Moog went toe to toe. We were up 5-3, but the others scored twice in the final 2 minutes. Tonelli and Greg Gilbert fucked us over. Oh, we played the others 3 times. We went to Long Island when 3-2 Moog beat Smith in December. Gretzky, Lindstrom, and Messier scoring twice for the Islanders. And then our third and final game, we won 6-5 in New York. Moog beat Smith. Our goals Messier, Gretzky, Jackson, Linsman, Anderson, and Dave Hunter. Honorable goals by Brian Sutter, LaFontaine, Dwayne Sutter, Brent, and Kalor. So we won 2 out of 3 of those guys. A lot of people said, don't believe the hype. Yeah, the Islanders won 51 games. We won 50. They scored 110 points. We scored 105 because they had more ties. Points percentage, yeah. They've scored 330 goals, which was not that high. 238 against. That's where they got their power. 9 losses at home. We lost 10. So that's it. We are playing for the championship. Believe it. Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond. Adieu.